everyone. Welcome. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. I am Sally Blue Sister, and this is My Turn to Talk. I hope everyone's having a good day today, as always. On this October day, wherever you are. Okay, so I'm going to get started here and everyone can just trickle in. Today I want to talk about child support. Child support, my topic is child support via deceit. And should he or shouldn't he? When is it okay for a father, quote unquote, not to pay child support? What if a child is conceived due to deception? Should the father have rights? So, should he or shouldn't he? There are, a lot of children, born into this world where their parents aren't necessarily married. And women every day go and file for child support or demand it or want it or however you want to put it. But you know when should a father, and again I say quote unquote father, not have to pay child support? Welcome, Helena Jungblad. I do believe I said that right. Maybe I did not, but welcome, or maybe not. But should they or should they not pay child support? I mean, if hello, chemist, welcome. You are the first one. If a woman deceives a man and she gets pregnant and he did not know that he's the father, and say years later, or maybe after the child is born, or even when the woman's pregnant, and the father finds out that that she is pregnant, they do a DNA test, and they find out that the child is theirs. Should the father be responsible for child support? Welcome, Frankie. Should the father be responsible for child support? What if it was a one night stand? Okay, and the guy says, ask the woman, are you on something? Are you on birth control? And she says yes. And let's say she lied, or you're with your girlfriend or whatever, and they lied. Should you be responsible for child support? So, I agree with the Me Too movement, but when it's in terms of deceit, I do think that men sometimes, they kind of they don't necessarily get a fair shake. Sometimes I do believe that decisions are made, um, you know, that goes against the father or the man that shouldn't have. Um, I don't know. Now, you have women out there who, for they try to trap men. Yes, they do. Yes, women. Some of you do. You try to trap men. And my question is, if a woman tries to trap a man and thinks that he's going to marry her, or they're going to get together, or he's going to leave his wife or leave his girlfriend, and purposely gets pregnant, and then the man does not come to her side or marry her or whatever, and all of a sudden she wants child support. Yes, the child is caught in the middle, but does she really have grounds for child support since she trapped him? So I'd like to know what you guys think. Am I right? Am I wrong? And Kimma says that should be grounds for a lawsuit against the woman or the lawsuit against the man. Could you clarify that for me? The woman. Okay. So do you think that just because you are the father, let's say it's a one night stand, okay? You guys met in a bar, restaurant, at the beach, wherever, on top of the Eiffel Tower, wherever. And it's a one night stand. And you don't see this person. You don't see this person again. Let's say you don't see them again for, say you run into them, uh, 5 years later, but um, she never tried to try to find you or anything. There was no attempt, but she runs into you, and then you find out that you have this child. Then all of a sudden she says, I want child support. Should she be able to legally get it? Welcome, frozen pizza fan. I mean, what do you guys think? Anybody want to comment on that one? Okay, so I have another question for you guys. If a woman finds out that she is pregnant and she knows who the father is, should there be a statute of limitations, so to speak, in terms of how soon a woman can come out and ask for child support? Meaning, 10 years later, she can't all of a sudden say, I want child support. Should there be a statute of limitations on child support? Anybody? Okay, Frankie says yes. Okay, all right. Um, does anybody think that if a woman, now Kim has already said that there should be grounds for lawsuit against the woman, but if a woman does trick a man, do you believe that a woman, I mean that the woman is automatically entitled to child support? Okay, Frankie is saying no. Okay, Frankie, would you like to take the mic? You are more than welcome if you'd like to. Okay, you are at work. Yeah, you did say that once before that you listened to the show at work. Well, I appreciate you listening. Frozen Pizza fan, do you want to make a comment? Or welcome Felix. Do you want to make a comment? Being a man, I would like to hear from a man. I would like to hear your perspective. Chemist, would you? I mean, any of you want to take the mic? I will send all of you guys invites out. If you want to take the mic, you're more than welcome, but I really would like to hear from a guy and what you guys think. So, Chemist, okay, Chemist, you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm not gonna dive too deep into it because I have 5 kids and I had to get them through the courts from their mothers. Uh, but the system, the system, child support is set up in favor of the woman, and without without me going too deep into it, women, it's without me going too deep into it, and without me like offending people. Um, Women, the child support system doesn't really give two shits about a man. I'll just say that. It doesn't really give two shits about a man. And it's better to vet a woman before you decide to get in bed with them.
Okay, but what if you vet that woman? Now, Frozen Pizza fan says, what do you mean by tricks? What I mean by tricks is you sleep with this woman. Hello, OJ, welcome. You know, a woman, you sleep with this woman, and she says that she's that she has protection, and she doesn't. Granted, you should probably have for protection too, but I mean, she has an ulterior motive, and she purposely gets pregnant. I mean, chemists, I mean, what do you think? I mean, I am a woman. I will not be offended. I truly want to know what people think, because I think that
Oh,
some women, they take it too far.
they do, they do, and I would try to see if Morgan or some other famous lawyer is willing to take my case if it ever gets to that point, because I try to sue her. Like, I would try to sue her for whatever reason.
I would agree. I would agree with you. And want to pick up on that, because I actually have a case. This is absolutely true. Let's see. I'm sorry, Frozen Pizza. Do you want to say anything, and then I will tell you about this case, and then I want you guys to come back and tell me what you think. This is a true case that happened in Illinois. So, Frozen Pizza, did you want to say something?
I can, but I don't have any kids. But when you say tricks, um, I also don't. I'm not really familiar with the system and how it works, so it's hard to say. But I agree with the other caller about it's geared towards the women in the system, and yeah, I'll just say I agree with that. But um, yeah, I feel like I should just listen
Okay,
because
all right. I mean,
I
that's
don't
fine.
have any kids, but there have been times when, yeah, no, I probably should just listen.
Okay, all right. Okay, Frozen Pizza. All right, so I am going to tell you guys a case. This is absolute true, and Kimmis is laughing. Okay, so I am going to tell you guys a case. And Frozen Pizza, you may have a comment about this. I don't think you have to be have children to understand this. All right, so this case happened in Illinois, and there was a man who had a secretary, and his secretary performed oral sex on him, and the man, he ejaculated, and he was happy, whatever, pulled up his pants, and for all, and just to say it, he was a happy camper, whatever, and he goes about his business. A couple of months later, this woman, the secretary's pregnant. He doesn't know, he just thinks that she's pregnant. When the baby's born, she sues him for child support. She sues him for child support. This is an honest to God case. She sues him for child support, and he is in front of the judge, and he's saying, "Judge, I swear I never slept with this woman. I was never inside her." And he told the judge what happened. Now, mind you, they're in court. And when he got sued for child support, this man is also married. Okay, so he's married, getting sued for child support by another woman. His wife is in the courtroom with him. And he's like, "Judge, I never slept with her. I never slept with her." And they had to take a DNA test. The judge, opens up the envelope. You can say it's like Maury Povich or whatever. And the judge said, "Sir, you are the father." The man is literally like shocked, and he faints. Okay, the guy faints, whatever, because he can't understand how he, um, made this woman pregnant. Well, come to find out, when the judge asked the woman, "Did you ever sleep with this man?" The woman said no. And he says, "Well, how did his sperm end up in you?" She wanted to be with this guy so much that after she performed oral sex on him, she saved some of his sperm and had it put inside of her. She got pregnant. This is honest to God. I am not lying. This is an honest to God case that happened in Illinois. So she got pregnant by this man's sperm. Okay. So so the judge, as crazy as it sounds, he had to look at case law. He had to go back and say, how am I going to rule on this? And he came back and he said, unfortunately, to the guy, you are the father. Illinois law, you are the father. If you are the father, and if it is proven that you are the father, you have to pay child support. Now, I personally think that is just so jacked up. Hello, Juju. I think that is so incredibly jacked up, you know. But this is what happens. So, frozen pizza, when you say tricks, this is one of the tricks that, I want to ask. Do you think that that person should have to pay child support because the law says that he does, but what she did was completely wrong? Just because you wanted to get this man who's, now that you've tricked him, do you really think that he's going to be with you? Now the only tie that you have is this child, but he's not going to be with you. So I'm going to open it up. Does anybody have something to say? Kimmis, you want to comment?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. Well, I kind of know what your comment is anyway. So, frozen pizza, I'm going to come back to you. So, do you want to say something or do you not want to say something now?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a trick, but also too, I don't know why the mom, would put her child through that. And is she gonna lie about how? Because if you know about it, it was clearly on the news. So this child is gonna grow up knowing. I might be naive because I know the divorce rate is super high in America, but I want to have a perfect family and one wife. But um, yeah, I just think that she just messed up. I maybe not, but it is kind of messed up what she did to the kid's life. But
And
also, I think though, because the judge said so, like I could see why, you have these pro-life people and, you know, you, hopefully he won't leave like his own kid stranded, without any financial support really, but it's just messed up.
okay, you bring up an interesting point. Okay, you just said you hope he doesn't leave his own kid stranded. Now she tricked him. I mean, that was just totally, excuse my French, that was totally fucked up, guys. All right, what she did. And you just said, Frozen Pizza said that he hopes that he doesn't leave his own kid stranded. But in the scheme of things, if he chose not to have a relationship with this child, do you blame him? And then it comes back to what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. If you are a child who is born of the product of your mom went to a fertility clinic and she signed something saying that she will not hold the donor if she finds out who he is in later years she won't try to get child support or something like that. So isn't that the same thing when you say that that child is being stranded, whatever? I mean, if that mother remains a single parent, or if she does get married and that child will still find out sooner or later that they were a product of a fertility clinic, isn't that, you know should that child be able to go and ask for child support later on? I mean, what do you guys think? Because when a woman tricks a man, especially when it comes to getting pregnant, having children, they're so focused on themselves and what they want that they're not thinking about their child. And Jill says, if a woman and man bring a child into this world, hopefully you have an inner moral compass and do the responsible thing and support that child. Okay. I agree, Jill, but I think you came in towards the end when I was telling them about this case where a woman literally tricked her boss, and after she gave him oral sex, he did not know that she saved the sperm and had it injected into her, so she became pregnant. So so I mean, I think that parents have a responsibility. But in terms of when someone is tricked or they don't know because someone else was doing something that was wrong, should the person who is responsible be the mother? And if the father wants to step up and take responsibility, then that's one thing. But if he doesn't, do you really blame him? So, anybody want to dive into that one? Anybody? No? All right. Okay, so if you're this woman who tricked this man, and yes, frozen pizza, what do you want to say?
I was just wondering when the judge was, thinking of like reviewing his decision, did the relationship between the boss and the secretary play a role where like versus just a date? And was this only the first instance or did they kind of have a relationship going? But I agree with what you're saying, but
There was a relationship, frozen pizza. There was a relationship. I do believe, I can't say for sure, but I do believe there was a relationship where basically it was hanky panky in the office, whatever. But I come back to whether they had a relationship or not. When the guy is standing in front of the judge saying, "I did not have sex with this woman," and now I sound like Bill Clinton, I did not have sex, with this woman, and he knows that he was never inside of her ever. That it was mainly just when they were fooling around, it was always mainly just oral sex and what have you. Um, he was adamant, but because she saved his sperm, and puts it inside of her, and she admits it to the judge, does the previous relationship really matter? And I mean, and the man's married, so does the previous relationship even matter that we know what they've been doing? So, and yes, Jill, this is true. This is a case that was in the state of Illinois. This is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. You can look it up. It is absolutely true. So, what do you guys think? Because there are women who, even though this seems like so far fetched and everything, but again, there are women who trick men. They may not go as far as doing, what this woman did, but there are women who do trick men and get pregnant on purpose. So, what do you think? Should a man automatically be responsible? And what Kim has said earlier is that the system is set up where it is geared towards the woman and not the man. And unfortunately, the person who loses out is the child. The child's the one who ultimately, is hurt. So, frozen pizza, I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt. So, did you want to continue with your thought if you remember what your thought was?
no, I guess I agree with you that he definitely got tricked. But I was just saying that because it was a work relationship, did it make a difference? But I agree with you that he got tricked.
Okay, now Jill says at the end of the day, he was still having sexual relations with her. Yeah, he was, but he wasn't inside of her. So does that matter? He never, it was always oral. So does that matter? And again, I go back to if you are tricked, if someone tricks you. Um, um, okay, okay. Let me ask you this question. Welcome, shy lady. Let's say that um, your friend asked you to pick them up. Okay, and I'm going to use, for lack of a better example, I'm going to use this Texas abortion law. Your friend asks you to pick them up and drive them somewhere. When you guys get there, you realize that you're in front of this abortion clinic. Okay, with Texas law, the person who is transporting, they can be sued. Okay, they can be sued. So if I'm standing across the street and I see this person drive up, this woman gets out, goes into this clinic, whatever, and the other person, drives away. I get their license number, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sue you. I find out later on that the person who went into the clinic did have an abortion, but I am going to sue the person who who dropped them off. Is that fair if I didn't know where you were going? Or when I got in front of the place, I should have just driven off with you still in the car? Or, I mean, what do you think? So isn't that kind of like the same thing, Jill, where the person who was driving was tricked, or I'm not going to say tricked, but they didn't know what was going on, but they're caught up in it. I mean, does that make sense? I'm trying to make a point here. So, anybody? Accomplice to a murder is a party to it. All right. So when does a person not become an accomplice? Anybody? When does someone not become an accomplice? Jill, would you like the mic? I'm more than happy to give it to you. Well, I'll send you an invite anyway. If you want to take it, it is up to you. So I don't know. I'm just very much into, if someone is deceiving someone else, then they should the person who they're deceiving should not be held accountable. So, Frozen Pizza, you are blinking. So, did you want to say something? And OJ wants to say something. So, hold on, OJ. There we go. Okay, OJ, you have the mic. Okay, and OJ dropped off. Hold on. All right. Well, I am going to keep going. So again, guys, I just want to know is, when does the man get a break? When does he get let off the hook, or does he ever get off the hook? And Juju says, in November, women who impregnated self with stolen semen from billionaire wins child support battle, who she never slept with. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about. I heard about that. And it's like, how do you get child support with someone that you never slept with? She stole and used condom from a then 24-year-old tech millionaire's hotel garbage can. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, this is ridiculous. I heard about that. Okay, and Jill says, without freedom and trust, love dies and fear and resentment build. Okay, Shy Lady wants to come on. Okay.
Hey, everybody. I want to say that I didn't hear about the case with the tech billionaire. I haven't heard about that. But I will say, in a case like that, that is definitely deceit. It's almost like theft, because you've gone out of your way to secure someone's funds with deception, and it's almost, like I said, like stealing to me, because your purpose is to steal from this man for something he wasn't involved in.
All right. Let's say they were having an affair. You missed a court case that I talked about. I don't want to keep repeating it, but let's say that you're having an affair, but the affair or the sexual relations are only oral, and that person does the same thing that this other woman did. You got the sperm and you put it inside yourself and you got pregnant. Do you think that even though you had sexual relations with this person, but you did not know what this person did and you never were inside of them, should they be responsible for child support?
No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't. I mean, in the end, it's the child that gets screwed. But being a woman, I look at some of these cases and it's like you're slowly ruining it for other women who have a valid what do you call it, have a valid case, have a valid reason. You just can't go around and well, I'm gonna take that person's sperm, or I'm going to have oral relations with them, and I'm going to use their sperm to get pregnant. I mean, come on. And OJ, what did you want to say?
Yeah, I want to say that this lady is a high standard con person, and she had gone and she was probably planted by this employees enemies. That's how it works. And just to defame him, and rob his rob him of his hard earned money. And this is absolutely ridiculous. And it is kind of, this lady, she has, with due respect to all in this room, to all ladies in this room, she has actually degraded the standard of ladies by doing so.
And I agree with that. So I come back to, at what point does a man get a break and he's not responsible? Does anybody, want to answer that one? I mean, okay, Juju says she impregnated herself with his sperm while she was cleaning his room. Okay, that's the one with the billionaire case. But for the other case that I was talking about earlier, she gave her boss she had oral sex with her boss, and she saved his sperm, and she impregnated herself. So again, case law, the woman or the judge, because of Illinois law, they had to he had to rule in favor of the woman and pay child support. So I mean, I don't know. I just think that if you're going to go out of your way, if you are going to go out of your way to do something like that, where literally you're dealing with another person that you're going to be, that you ultimately are, you may get the child support, but you are still ultimately responsible for that child, at least for the next 18 years. And is that something that you really wanted? Or did you just want the money? Or in the case of this woman in Illinois, she wanted the boss. And she didn't get the boss. In the end, she didn't get the boss. She just got his money for child support. So, yes, I do believe that if a man and woman, bring a child into this world, that they are responsible for it. But if they both bring a child into this world, it can't be one person doing it. It has to be both. And when I say one person, I mean one person cannot impregnate themselves and all of a sudden, I want child support. That's just not right. And Kim said, women are crazy. Some of us are. Yes, some of us are. And Juju says, I believe this is going to be a trend. It possibly could be, with the Me Too movement, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against the Me Too movement. I believe that people like Bill Cosby was guilty he admitted it. He admitted, giving, putting stuff in people's drinks and what have you. I believe that Harvey Weinsteins and all of those guys are guilty. I do believe that, you know, um, you know, between, if you're raping someone, or you do something like Bill Cosby or Harvey Weinstein did, which I guess was rape, whatever, you should be held accountable. But if you are tricking a man and you get pregnant, then no, I do not think you should be responsible. I don't think a man should be responsible. Welcome, Crucible Man and Feisty One. So, we've been talking about a lot of things, but you know, again, I'm going to repeat myself because people are coming in. The case in Illinois where the woman purposely impregnated herself, and then Juju brought up the other case, the one in November where the maid uh, got his sperm out of a garbage can and impregnated herself and won child support. So, at what point does a man get off? At what point does a man not be on the hook for child support?
The case that you
Anybody?
just mentioned, I'm sorry, the
Go
case that you
ahead.
just mentioned, in my opinion, should allow a man to be exempt from that situation, because it was deception, and their whole point was to take money that does not belong to them, and that's, in my opinion, that's theft. So that should be an exemption. But I understand laws are written, and no matter if a judge believes it's immoral, if the law states that, then they have to render accordingly.
Okay, so do you think that laws should be changed?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and
That's
Feisty,
that,
go ahead, go ahead.
I was just saying that's deception, and to me that's theft. So that's why I'll give someone else a chance to give their opinion.
Okay, and Feisty One says, is it the child's fault? No, it's not the child's fault, but it's not the father's fault, is it really? I mean, even if there was a sexual relationship, even if there was a sexual relationship there, or in the case in Illinois, it was an oral relationship. But you know, is it the father's fault? Is it the father's fault that this um woman decided to impregnate herself? And these two cases, the one in Illinois and the other one from with the billionaire, those are not isolated incidents. I mean, these things happen. I mean, some of them may be far fetched, but it happens. It happens all the time. Yes, OJ, you may.
Well, you all, there's a movement across the globe which says equal rights to, okay, women. I mean, that means bringing women at par with men as far as the law is concerned. I think there should be another counter law in which men should also have the equal rights as the ladies. In this particular case which you just which we're discussing now, this guy was honest enough to say that what he had done, and he acknowledged his wrongdoing. But then this lady took the advantage of kind of impregnating herself by saving the sperm, and now she's claiming it. Now, where is the right for this man, is my question. I mean, so just because she's a lady, so the law is going to favor him, disfavor her. With due respect to all the ladies in the room, once again.
OJ, I agree with you 100%. And this is where I say, when we talk about hypocrisy. And Feisty One says the law is designed to protect the child. Yeah, but then again, and this is less about the father. Okay. And Kimmis is calling bullshit. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Okay, so you know Spicy One, I have to agree with Kimmis. I don't think the law may be designed to protect the child in theory, but the law is flawed because on one hand, you can't tell a man that he's going to pay child support because your sperm made this woman pregnant, so therefore DNA test or whatever says that you are the father. But then in the other hand, you can't go before a judge and you're trying to get custody, and usually they side with the mother. It's like, when does the father get a break? And there are times when fathers should be the one taking custody of the children over the mother. So, is it always designed to protect the child? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Kevin, you always crack me up. So, does anybody have anything to say? Crucible Man, do you have something that you want to say? Kevin, I'm going to be thinking about this and with your comment, and I'm just going to laugh. I'll be laughing some more today. Crucible Man, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm a little late to the party, so I apologize if I'm behind the curve here. But yeah, I agree with OJ. I tried to chime in a couple minutes ago, and I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, I was not aware that so many of these cases existed. I mean, I certainly hear about them from time to time. I didn't know that it was a thing, but across the board, I don't know how it is in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, but on the radio here and on TV, we get these commercials constantly for these attorneys advocating for men's rights, whether it's visitation, whether it's for divorce or whatnot. Because the men have been getting the short end of it when it comes to marital types of disputes, whether it's child support, what we're talking about here, child support, or in divorce court or visitation rights, whatever it happens to be, the playing field seems severely tilted against men. And why don't they have any rights? Why can't they countersue the woman? If these examples that you guys are saying are true, and I don't have any reason to believe they're not, where the hotel trash can and things like that, why don't they fight back is what I'm wondering. Do they not have any advocates in the system? It just seems to me that type of a thing is overdue, because we do hear about advocacy for men's rights and with visitation and divorce and things like that. Why is child support any different? And why don't men fight back?
You have a very good point, and I think they should fight back. And now, Feisty One says some men quit their jobs in an effort not to pay child support, and they do. So, but when they do, is it still more than likely that like the one with the billionaire or the case in Illinois, if they are fighting back, is more than likely is the gavel still going to come down on the side of the woman or quote unquote the child? I mean, again, if it's deceit, if it's something that is deceit, and the woman admits that it is deceit, like the one with the billionaire, I just think when I heard about that one, I just thought, that one was just crazy, but yet these women are winning in court. Now, let me ask this one. You have men who have raped women, and they find out that the woman gets pregnant, and either the woman wants to put the child up for adoption, or even if they decide to keep the child, or maybe they want to have an abortion, and you have the rapists, and this has happened many times. They go to court. They file for custody, and they win. And to me, by them doing it, it's another form of control and telling the woman, "Well, I'm going to rape you all over again, so screw you, whatever." But these men win. What is that about? Does anybody want to comment on that one? Frozen Pizza, your mic is open. Did you want to say something or no? Okay, I'm assuming that is a no. All right. So, does anybody want to comment on that? I mean, what is up with that? Shy Lady, Crucible, OJ, either of you want to comment? Crucible?
Yeah, I guess, don't there need to be, when we're talking about child support, and I don't know if this is the case or not, because I'm certainly not fluent in this topic, but don't there need to be, when a woman accuses a man of whether it's impregnating her, rape, or whatever the case may be, the woman winds up pregnant, and under very suspicious circumstances, it was not consensual, or it was, the hotel room used condom thing. Don't courts or judges advocate for some kind of mental health testing, or some kind of, when he sees these kinds of circumstances where a woman is impregnated under very odd circumstances that could be construed as non-consensual or deceit? Why aren't courts ordering mental health evaluations of people who clearly are not right if they're taking used condoms out of hotel trash cans and impregnating themselves? Something is clearly wrong with these people. So why are there not mental health tests for the woman? Why is the scrutiny always put on the man?
Okay, now I would say that, I mean, I would agree with you, but it's not, to me, it's not always a mental issue. To me, it's like, is it greed? I mean, is it, is it a mental issue or is it greed? I mean, Feisty One says, let's say they are nutty. What next? She is nutty. Does he want custody of the child? Let's say he doesn't want custody. Let's say the man has no interest in custody of the child. He did not know this woman was pregnant. She went and did it in a nefarious way, whether she's crazy or greedy, whatever. Then if he says he doesn't want custody of the child, then mostly, people say, well, he's the father. Wow, look at how he's treating his child. But, again, at what point does the father get a break under circumstances that were not his doing, that were under the table, just wrong? At what point does a man get a break? Anybody want to answer that one? So, if I see, okay, I already read that. So let's go back to Crucible Man. When Feisty One says, so let's say that they are nutty, then what's next? Then what is next? Okay, so the woman's nutty, and
Well, I think at that point, yeah, it's unfortunate that she's determined to be unbalanced or nutty or whatever the term is, but you can't necessarily, I don't know the law, but I don't think you can take that child from the mother just because she's been deemed to have some mental health issues. But wouldn't that mean at a bare minimum she's responsible for supporting that child? I mean, I'm not trying to get the child taken away from the woman unless she's seriously mentally ill to the point where she can't care for herself or her child. But I don't understand why that wouldn't cause the judge to say, this happened under very, like you said, nefarious circumstances, and I'm not going to put this man on the hook for child support for the next 18 years when you clearly deceived him, and you did so because you have got some mental health issues. So I don't understand why that wouldn't be enough for a judge to say he's not responsible for this because you did something untoward or you did something deceitful. it seems pretty black and white to me that if he is suspicious of the circumstances under which she became pregnant and he suspects that she's having mental health issues, that should be fairly clear to at least bear further investigation, or for the judge to just say outright, you're responsible for raising this child, not the man who you claim impregnated you.
And I would agree with that. And Feisty One says, I would think she is equally financially responsible. Let's talk about that word equal for a moment, because Feisty One also says must keep control of his personal stuff. All right, but come on. If you are getting, and I'm talking about the Illinois case now, if you are getting oral sex, okay, and in your mind, that's all it is. And you zip up your pants and you walk out the door, say thank you very much, and you have a smile on your face, and you're in happy land. At what point though, because the person went and did it in an underhand way, that they went and kept your sperm, where does the equal part come in? I mean, are you equally? Why should I have to pay for this or be responsible for this if I didn't know that what you were going to do? I didn't know that you were going to do this. You went behind my back. And Juju says, agree. Men should be more careful with their sperm. Remember, she is a maid cleaning some some nasty man. All right. Okay. So Crystal says she wasn't behind his back. Okay. Oh my God. No, she was not behind his back. But you never know. He could have been a contortionist. Who knows? Who knows? But I mean, okay, so you say men should be, Juju, you say men should be more careful with their sperm. But what does a woman have to? I mean, so again, you're putting the onus on the man. You're putting the onus on the man. And I'm just playing devil advocates here. So you're putting the onus on the man. When does the woman become responsible? When she did something behind his back, on her knees, whatever, however you want to put it, she did it in a deceitful way. So does anybody want to answer that? Do any of you guys think Arnold Schwarzenegger was set up by his maid? That's a good one, Shy Lady. I'm going to give you the mic if you want to speak. If not, I will take the mic back.
Well, I remember
okay.
that case.
Shy Lady, you want to say something?
Yeah, real quickly. I remember that case, and I'm thinking like, I saw
You're going to have to come a little bit closer to the speaker.
Is that better?
Yes, it is.
Okay. When I first heard about this, I mean, I don't know Arnold or Maria or anyone else that's related to or connected with them. And I'm thinking to myself, I look at Maria and I see this maid, and I'm like, there has to be something that was deceptive about this. And I'm like, I just don't understand. I just do not understand how Arnold, I mean, I know he's a man, but I'm just like, I always wondered if it was a setup. It always occurred to me in the back of my mind. Was he really seriously having an affair with this woman? Seriously?
Does anybody want to answer that? Because I would love to answer that. But Kim says, Juju, women need to stop being thirsty. Okay, so Shy Lady, I personally think that Schwarzenegger was having an affair with this woman, that he chose to have an affair with this woman. I think that and one reason why I say that is because his son was embraced into the family, whatever. He willingly, stepped up, and he claimed his son, whatever. I think that he willingly had an affair with this woman. So whether or not you think she's beautiful, not beautiful, whatever, I think that he willingly had an affair. So, does anyone want to comment on what Shy Lady said or what anyone else is saying, either on the mic or on the chat? OJ, do you have something to say? Shy Lady says maybe she was giving him sex and Maria wasn't. I mean, that's a possibility, So, but I do believe that either way that it was not a setup for this particular case for Schwarzenegger. I do not believe it was a setup. Um, I believe that he had an affair. She got pregnant, and they had a child together, and he welcomed the child into the family. So, you know, let's see. Maybe let's see. Men should be more careful with their sperm. Okay, so does anybody else have anything that they want to comment on? Because I want to take this in another direction. Crucible, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I guess are we getting to the point, and I'm kind of being facetious, but kind of not. And it does take a bit of the romance out of the moment. I'm not going to deny that, but are we at a point where men are going to need to start signing a document prior to engaging in any kind of casual sex with a woman he's not married to, that says, this is a consensual act that is taking place, and we are both consenting adults, and nobody is liable for anything after the outcome of this, or something of that nature. I mean, I'm kind of kidding, but if the courts are going to continue to ignore this type of a thing, and women are going to continue to be allowed to behave deceitfully, are we getting to that point as the only recourse for men to protect themselves? Because clearly a condom is not enough.
Well, Frozen Pizza says, excuse me, I think a lot of famous people do that. And OJ says, sorry, since I'm not aware of these cases, I'd rather keep silent. And Shy Lady says, sounds like a good idea. Now, I do believe that there are some celebrities, some well-known people, they do that. But I mean, I don't want to, I know I may sound like I'm coming down hard on women, and I guess in these instances I am, because when a woman really does need help, when she really does need that child support, I don't want the laws to be skewed where she doesn't rightfully get it. But at the same time, there has to be that fairness there. It has to be it has to be fair where if a woman is tricked, I'm sorry, if a man is tricked and deceived, I'm sorry, I don't care what the case law says or whatever, and the case law should be changed, that person, the father or the man, is not responsible. And at the same time, the man may be getting divorced from his wife or whatever. He shouldn't have to go and fight for custody, where it's a system that's automatically skewed to grant custody to the woman. So, so I don't know. So does anybody want to comment on that? And Shadow, thank you for sharing the show. And Juju is still laughing at Kim's. What's your name, where you are from, so I can send you a bolo to my friends to avoid you? Oh, Kim's, you are too funny. You are too funny. You know what? I mean, seriously, and sending bolos out to a lot of people. I think a lot of bolos need need to go out. Seriously. Yes, I am, Shadow. I am doing well, thank you. Um, are we just getting to a point where not just with women and sleeping with people, but just for everything, do we need to literally sign something every time we walk out of the house? Because that is what it is coming to. But when it comes to sex, unfortunately, the the guy, you're on the hook, so you all have to do some double checking. When a girl says that she's 18, you better double check. Don't assume. ask for ID. And I'm not saying, even if she gave you a school ID or something, I want to see a passport. I want to see a driver's license. I want to see something, well, passport doesn't have your birth date on it, but, I want to see something proving that you are who you say you are, and, that you are over the age of 18, because then you'll get caught for, taking advantage of a minor, and you'll be charged for rape. So Juju says 100 yards. In the end, she will be richer than you and I in this lifetime. Yes, the billionaire lady will. And see, and that's another thing. It's like she got child support, and child support, if I'm correct, is also based on your income, meaning the man's income. And Feisty one says that men quit their jobs when child support, when that happens, whatever. So why should a billionaire have to pay? I'm just throwing out a number here. Why should a billionaire have to pay $10,000 a month in child support, but someone who is a bus driver only has to pay $500 a month? I mean, is that even fair? I mean, how much does your child need? I mean, does your child need $10,000 worth of, support? I mean, seriously. So, anybody? OJ, you want to say something? Or OJ is not saying anything. Okay, he wants to be silent. And Juju Kimma says, "Not off my dollars. Her brakes are gonna go out in a sharp turn." She will, okay. And the George awarded her $7 million. I mean, I think that is just crazy. And Frozen Pizza says, "I think the money should be monitored carefully in these cases." You are absolutely correct. So if you're getting $7 million, does that mean that you're going to put your child in an expensive boarding school as opposed to a public school, or opposed to a private school that is less expensive? Why should I, just because I'm a billionaire, have to pay more money than someone who is a bus driver, especially if it's something that was done in deceit? So anybody want to take that one? Crucible Man, Frozen Pizza, you want to say something? Anybody?
Yeah, I think unfortunately it's going to have to take maybe a landmark case, a very high profile, very public case. Maybe the Schwarzenegger thing wasn't high profile enough. I don't know, but this seems to be a growing trend. I was not really aware of so many instances where these underhanded tactics are done. But it just seems to me there's going to have to be a very high profile case where a man wins and it sets some kind of a precedent. I don't know if that's possible or not, but at some point, something is going to happen in some sort of a sea change kind of way for this to start shifting back in the other direction. Whether that happens or not, I don't know, but I think it's going to take something like that to finally get people's attention and talk about the inequities of these things. And it's ironic that I find as women become more and more empowered and more, I don't want to say equal because they've been equal in a lot of ways for a while, but you've got the Me Too movement. I find it curious and ironic that for all the noise that gets made about that this gets swept under the rug and nobody says up and says, well, wait a minute. Everything seems to be going in that direction now. And just because of our biology, men shouldn't continue to get the short end. I have a friend of mine who, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I know we're wrapping up here, but who has been in divorce court off and on since 2007. He's not a particularly rich man. He has some money. It's cost him every freaking cent that he's had. She keeps dragging him back into court every time she feels like there's money that he didn't disclose or something or other. And he's been paying her for the past 14 years. And she's completely ruined his life. So at what point does the tail stop wagging the dog and somebody stand up and say, this is 2021 in the United States of America, and we're still allowing the courts to ruin men's lives at the blink of an eye? It makes no sense to me.
Well, unfortunately, this is the United States of America, and that's what happens in the United States of America. Um, uh, especially with the courts. Frozen pizza. What did you want to say? Did you want to say something? No? Yes? No? Okay. You have the mic. Are you there? I don't hear you. I'm still muted. You're muted? Hold on, let me double check. You are not muted. Okay, you're not muted. You should be
Okay,
able to.
sorry.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say I agree with Crucible Man, and I don't have any children, but in the cases that you brought up, I think that maybe a law that could be proposed is if a woman impregnates herself or anybody who goes to a sperm bank, they have to get a letter. They have to notify the man who they're getting the sperm from, and I also was thinking, have they ever thought about making male birth control? Because it isn't fair to the guys. And also, if a woman chooses to go through it, like raising a child without the man in the life, can the child support be based off of it? I guess for Deceit, can the child support be based off of her income? So it's like the billionaire doesn't give the maid all of his money. But that's all I had to say.
I think thank you, Juju, for coming as always, and thank you for liking the show. I disagree with you on Frozen Pizza Fan when you said that you think that at a sperm bank uh, that they should notify the male. When a male goes to, donates his sperm, they're given numbers, and then women come in and they look at their profile and see what, who they are, blah blah blah, and men are assigned a number. And when the women choose to use that fertility clinic or sperm bank, whatever you want to call it, they have to sign something saying that they will not go after this man for child support. Now that's only protecting the man. It's not. I mean, it's protecting this. It's protecting the man from the woman, not the child. So the child can still try to find out who their father is, whatever. But I don't think that a man needs to know every time someone uses his sperm, because he went in there being a sperm donor knowing that you could literally have 100 children. So what's the purpose of letting that man know what that there may be 100 people knocking at his door, but the man is protected because women have to sign something stating that they, do not hold this person legally responsible for child support in the soup. I'm sorry, in the future. And Frozen Pizza says, I guess the sperm bank should protect sperm that is brought in, and they are protecting it by having the woman sign something before they allowed her to be impregnated with his sperm. So is that what you mean by protection, or do you think that like somebody's going to break in and steal the sperm?
No, I meant protection with if well, I think it's different in the case from Illinois of a man who donates his sperm and a woman who brings in sperm on her own. So I guess the protection should just go to sperm that is brought into the bank.
Okay, and then that is where the woman, it has to sign something before that sperm is given
Correct.
to her. So she is signing something saying that she will not hold the donor, whoever that donor may be, donor 210, financially or
Yeah,
legally responsible. Right.
but more so just if I feel like if you bring in random sperm that the sperm bank doesn't know anything about, then
Okay, but what
there
do you
should.
mean? What do you mean by random sperm? Because
Well,
when you go to sperm banks, men are scrutinized, and they don't take everyone. So it's
yeah,
not like
no,
somebody can just go in and say, "Here's my sperm,"
no, but
So
the woman who got the woman from the Illinois case, she saved the sperm and then brought it there,
No,
and
no,
that's
no,
how.
no, 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 no. What she did was she gave her boss oral sex. After that, she collected some of that sperm from his ejaculation, and she impregnated herself.
Oh,
Yes,
oh,
yes. So it wasn't like a woman was, she went to a sperm bank when she impregnated herself. So yeah, because she did the same thing that the billionaire uh maid case did. So she impregnated herself. So yeah.
oh, I get it now.
Okay. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's definitely, they shouldn't have to pay child support.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, again, this was another, interesting show. Chemist, as always, you always just tickle me. You always, you always do. But everyone, thank you so much. And Chemist says the government makes just as much money from child support as the mother or recipient does. So unless someone presents a watertight case, I'm assuming, men will continue to get the short end of the stick, and nothing will change in the way the system is ran. Okay, and Reddit says the billionaire story is fake, FYI. And okay, Shy Lady, that's interesting because that case was like that, like ran the gamut around. So and it was even reported. Um okay, so anyway, I guess I know where everyone stands. And does anyone else want to have a parting comment? Because we have definitely gone over. Does anyone want to make a comment before the show ends? Anybody? No? All right. Well, in that case, guys, you guys have a wonderful afternoon or evening or night. And again, I'm going to say, speak your truth. I am Solid Blue Sister. This is my turn to talk. And I hope to see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you, Crucible Man. Thank you, Juju. Bye, Shy Lady. Juju, I'm telling you, the day you say something, everyone's going to stand up and clap. And I am going to use one of my special effects to just say Yahoo. Don't forget to send me that info. Chemist. Juju says, don't forget to send me that info. Oh, Chemist. Chemist is so funny. But he always has, I may not always agree with him, but he does have points. And today I was agreeing with Chemist again. Wow. Chemist, Juju says she will, which of course it means you will never get it. Frankie, I know you are at work. Thank you so much for liking the show, and thank you for giving me that pod bean. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, thank you. And she gave me another one. Thank you, Frankie. Thank you. Okay, OJ. Thank you, dude, for staying up. I know it's like, 2 o'clock in the morning in India, and you get up for my show, so thank you. And I appreciate this group we have. I think everybody's kind of vibing with everyone, so. You all have a good day. I'll see y'all later. Bye.